Hey everyone, Merlin here, and today I want to talk about The Last Jedi. Now, the reason I'm making this video is because I want to give you guys an understanding of how I came to The Last Jedi and what my journey was getting there. I want to start out by saying that I'm one of those horrible fans that Disney's not interested in keeping around. I saw the original Star Wars movie when it first came out when I was 7 years old. And after I saw it, Star Wars was the first thing I thought about when I got up in the morning, and it was the last thing I thought about when I went to sleep at night. And, I was pretty much a diehard Star Wars fan for a really long time. When the EU stuff came out, I didn't really get into it that much. I read Heir of the Empire, but then I kind of got sidetracked after that and didn't really get into it any further. Before that, I had read some of the Han Solo novels, and I was kind of young when I read those, so I didn't really remember what had really happened in those. I also read Splinter of the Mind's Eye before Empire came out, and I had a kind of mixed reaction to that. And then, then of course later on the special editions came out, and I had mixed feelings about those too. I loved the facelift that Star Wars got. But, like everyone else, I didn't like the fact that they kind of changed Han Solo's character by having him wait for Greedo to shoot at him first, and then after miraculously not getting killed by getting shot at by point blank range, decides to shoot Greedo. I mean, I think it's pretty much, coded into Han Solo's character that he is a smuggler who has survived as long as he has because he will kill somebody if he thinks his life depends on it. That's not an evil thing. It doesn't make him a villain. It just makes him someone who knows how to not get killed. So things like that in the special editions, I wasn't really a big fan of. And eventually I thought, adding all the CGI to it was probably not the best idea either. It kind of frustrated me that in the making of the special editions, Lucasfilm went to the trouble of completely cleaning up the original prints of the films and creating this pristine version of the original trilogy, yet never thought to basically take that version and press it on the DVDs or Blu-rays and put it out. I mean, that would be basically a license to print money. Everyone would buy it. I would buy it many times, but they chose not to. And it always amused me that people thought, people always said, well, they destroyed that film print after they made the special editions. Well, it doesn't matter what happened to the film print. The pristine version of Star Wars before they started adding the CGI to it, that's sitting on a hard drive somewhere. They could press that to a Blu-ray anytime they want. So there was that. And then the prequels came out. I was really excited when The Phantom Menace came out. That was at a time before there was YouTube, back when most people's internet was still dial-up. So if you wanted to watch the Phantom Menace trailer online, you basically had to spend like an hour and a half downloading it. So that was a pretty weird time. And so when I saw the Phantom Menace, I wasn't as blown away by it as I thought I was going to be, and it wasn't really what I was expecting. I was expecting to be, to have my socks blown off, just like I did when I saw the original movies. So, it was the first time that it started to sink in that, the original trilogy was, kind of like lightning in a bottle, and probably, you probably couldn't recapture that. And so, the other two came out, and, there was less and less enthusiasm for those as they came out. I still went to see them. I still saw them many times. I bought the DVDs and, everything like that. But, it just wasn't as exciting. And, as time went on, it became clear about all the things that were wrong with it. And you kind of, that sense of disappointment kind of, increased and matured over the years. And then, of course, Red Letter Media put out their reviews on the prequels and really pointed out a lot of the shortcomings of the prequels and everything that was wrong with them. And I know it's easy to take pot shots at a movie and not really talk about the positive things about it, but they had a lot of good points, and those videos really, I think they were really on point and really shed a light on what was wrong with Star Wars at that point. And it really seemed at that point like Lucas had no interest in continuing Star Wars at all. He had said that, he was pushing 70 years old and he didn't want to spend another 10 years making another trilogy of movies. Sometimes he would even deny that there was ever plans to do a third trilogy in the first place, which, no one believed because he had mentioned it many times before. Of course, he just likes to pretend that he didn't. So anyway, when Disney decided to purchase Lucasfilm, it was my initial reaction was a hopeful one, because the first thing I thought was whatever Disney does cannot be any worse than the prequels. It's not that I hated the prequels. I enjoyed the prequels for what they were, but there was a lot wrong with them, and I think any competent filmmaker could make a better film than those three movies. So I thought I was really excited to see what Disney would do, because here's the thing. Say what you want about Disney, the one thing that can't be denied, or at least this is what I thought back then, is that Disney loves money. They love it more than anything. And they're not going to spend $4 billion buying an IP and then not, do anything to and waste that money by making terrible movies. They have the resources to hire the best people in the world, the best writers in the world, the best directors, the best actors, the best everything. There seems like no scenario in my mind where they wouldn't make a movie that would at least be entertaining and pleasing to the fans. So, I had a sense of low-key excitement. When I first heard that Kathleen Kennedy was going to be in charge of Lucasfilm, I had a good feeling about that too, because, she was a producer on most of Steven Spielberg's films. So I figured she knew what she was doing. And she was a close associate of both Steven Spielberg and George Lucas. And George Lucas seemed to trust her implicitly. So I thought, she is going to be very in tune with what Star Wars is all about. She'll be very intent on treating the property in a good way and do a good job of shepherding Star Wars into like a new age. Then as the years, the months and, a couple of years went by, certain things happened. Disney decided to decanonize the Star Wars expanded universe. A lot of people were disappointed about that. I really didn't have like a noticeable reaction to it. I was just like, oh, okay. Because I really hadn't read much of the expanded universe. Like I said, I think I had only read Heir of the Empire and didn't even go on with the other two books. So I didn't really have that much of an investment in the expanded universe like a lot of other people did. And so I was like, well, they probably want to basically, they're probably going to take a lot of that material and roll it out the way they want to. So I thought, let's just see what happens. And so then eventually they announced J.J. Abrams was going to be directing The Force Awakens. And I was fairly pleased about that at the time because, I liked Lost. I liked the 2009 Star Trek movie. So I thought, all right, He's like a real Spielberg geek. He's really into that type of filmmaking, so he might be a good fit for Star Wars. So, and I know he's not much of a writer per se, but, they also announced Lawrence Kasdan, who had so much to do with the success of the original trilogy, was also writing the script. So I thought, well, this sounds great. Let's see how it works out. So eventually The Force Awakens comes out, and it was aggressively mediocre. I went to go see it, and the movie ended. I was like, okay, I guess it was good. But I was really not that excited about it. And I thought, well, maybe I'm just not interested in Star Wars anymore. Maybe that's the reason. Now, I should also mention that a lot of my expectations were, I wouldn't say subverted so much, but they weren't really met. Like, when I first heard about the cast, with Daisy Ridley and Domhnall Gleeson, Oscar Isaac, and John Boyega, I thought they were going to be certain characters. Like, I thought Daisy Ridley and Domhnall Gleeson were going to be Jason and Jaina Solo, but of course, that was way off the mark. I wasn't expecting Domhnall Gleeson to be the villain at all, but okay. And then I wasn't really sure who John Boyega was going to be. I thought, maybe they were going to make him Lando's son or something, but no, he was just a defecting stormtrooper, and that seemed like a pretty good idea, but they didn't really do anything with it. And then, of course, there was Captain Phasma, another character that seemed like she was going to be going to have some kind of significant role in the movie, but then just ended up just being, just there. She was just, just a character really didn't have much to do with the story. And I was also kind of underwhelmed by the fact that the movie was a complete rehash of the first Star Wars movie. Now, you might have noticed I'm not calling it A New Hope because I don't call it A New Hope. I call it Star Wars because that's what the name of it is. It wasn't called A New Hope until, I don't know, probably like the 90s. But anyway, The Force Awakens just seemed like a carbon copy of the first Star Wars movie. And it's like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you just do something new? And, people are saying, well, we want people to get what it is. We want people to get that it's Star Wars. Like, yeah, people know what Star Wars is. Everyone's fucking seen Star Wars. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people who haven't seen Star Wars, but if you think you're going to get those people now, I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, so like I said, the Force Awakens was kind of an underwhelming experience, and I thought, well, okay, there's a lot of things in this movie that aren't explained. Like, why is Rey so strong in the Force? Why is she able to handle lightsabers so well? Why is she able to fly the Millennium Falcon better than Han Solo when she doesn't really have any experience with any of this stuff? And I was like, well, they're gonna have to explain this in the next movie. There's gonna be an explanation. All right, so let's see what the next movie is gonna be. And when I heard Rian Johnson was gonna be directing that one, I was kind of excited because I had liked all of Rian Johnson's movies up until that point. I'd seen Brick, and, Brick is a really interesting movie. It's kind of like, if you took the Maltese Falcon and the Breakfast Club and mashed them together, that's what you would get. He did another movie called The Brothers Bloom, which was really good. And then, of course, he did Looper, which, it wasn't the greatest thing ever, but I liked it. So when I heard he was going to be doing it, I thought, oh, that sounds kind of cool. Like, I wonder what he'll do with Star Wars, But then, of course, in 2017, I unfortunately found out. But I'm kind of getting ahead of myself because the first time I saw The Last Jedi, I actually enjoyed it a little bit more than The Force Awakens. I initially kind of liked some of the unexpected things that happened, like, Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, and Snoke getting killed. I was like, oh my God, where are they going with this? And the hyperspace ramming maneuver, I was like, oh my God, that looks so cool. And the throne room battle, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing ever. Now, of course, I'm so ashamed that I'm saying this now, but of course, I'm like thinking back on it now, I'm like, oh my God, what was I thinking? But that's what I thought at the time. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. It kind of did some really bold, gutsy things, and I'm wondering where it's going to go. But then when I saw it again, like a week or two later with my wife, afterwards, I was talking about it with her and talking about some of the things that didn't make very much sense to me. And at one point she was saying, you're starting to make me not like it anymore either. So I immediately shut up, because I didn't want to put her off. And I didn't hate it at that point either. But then as the days and the weeks went by, less and less of it made any sense. And I was like, I'm not really, I don't really think this is a good movie anymore. But then, like, days after I saw the movie, I started seeing some videos by Mundane Matt, who I had been following for a number of years before that. This was back when Mundane Matt wasn't an internet meme, before he decided to, out himself as a false flagger and become a full-time Uber Eats driver. And, he was making some videos right after The Last Jedi came out about how Disney's ruining Star Wars and The Last Jedi is really bad. And I was thinking to myself, I don't know, man. I think that's a little bit of a harsh take. Like, yeah, it wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as you're saying it is. But then I started thinking about it, and the doubts started to creep in. The things that didn't make sense started to become more apparent. The things that were wrong with the movie started to become much more clear. The scene where Luke throws away his lightsaber, the whole bombing scene in the beginning, and then of course Snoke being killed, all the problems with the lightsaber battle afterwards, and of course the Holdo maneuver, which kind of completely ruins space battle, and so many other things. It really started to dawn on me that this wasn't a very good movie.
Hello geeks and gamers, it's Jeremy coming to you with another video, and today we are going to talk about...
Hello geeks and gamers, it's Anna, also known as that Star Wars girl. This is my first official time as a part of the...
Welcome to Mindless Entertainment. I'm your host, Jessie Milestone, and we're here today to talk about Star Wars 8, The Last Jedi.
The following is a world-class bullshitters exclusive.
So folks, this is a world-class Bullshitters First, a scientific study of Star Wars.
Greetings, future subjects, henchmen, nemesis, and villains. I am Dictor Von Doomcock, supervillain and pop culture critic.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mauler, and welcome to a critique of Star Wars The Force Awakens. I will be covering far more than just the film itself, but as the title implies...
So around this time, videos from certain content creators that I hadn't seen before started appearing on my YouTube homepage. First there was Geeks and Gamers, then there was Mindless Entertainment, then there was that Star Wars girl. Not long after that, there was Comic Artist Pro Secrets, World Class Bullshitters, SC Reviews, Ivan Ortega, Nerdrotic, and many others. So I guess the point of all this is that if it wasn't for everything that happened, if it wasn't for The Last Jedi, there wouldn't be this wonderful community known as the Fandom Menace. A community that I feel proud to be a part of. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe for more videos. And remember, no matter where you're going, there you are.